Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome to... Okay. This installment is going to be problematic for me. Because from the outset, let's put this on the table right away. Here's what we're talking about today. Radiomaster MT12. I don't think that I am sufficiently qualified to review this radio. This radio is a blazing dichotomy. On the one hand, let's say it's on this hand, and it is. On this hand, I love this radio. Ergonomically, I have one issue with it, which is I have inhuman thumbs. We've talked about these before. If you're sitting at home now, take your pinky, put it next to your thumb. Your pinky and your thumb will probably be about the same length. My pinky and my index finger are the same length. I have a very long thumb. It's also very large and flat. So the spacing right here, my thumb barely fits. There's a little button right here, T5. I hit T5 all the time. So if you have a normal human hand, that ergonomic issue will not be present for you. There will probably be no other ergonomic issue. The steering wheel is the feel of the wheel, the tension, the relative tension is up there with the very best. The trigger feel may indeed be the very best. It is littered with buttons and knobs and adjustability and add-on pieces, an external RF module. You can change this part down here to other stuff. You can pair it to any number of receivers. You can do all sorts of wonderful things. It has, you hold your button down like this, and that's how it powers up.
Switch warning.
It does that every time I turn it on, but it also does this.
Trim center. Trim center.
It is delight. Oh, so when you pull the trigger, this one doesn't do it. Okay. My thoughts are too scrambled. I've had this in my hands for about a week. For every bit of it that is inspiring of awe to some degree, there is something about it that is equally and on every level infuriating. I don't even know how to sum it up. Okay. The hardware feels outstanding. This feels like you've just picked up a Futaba. Now, for a lot of people here in the crawler segment, which is where we are, $50 radio, $60 radio, $80 radio, that's where we live. This radio is $139. For what it is, for what you get, this is a 32-channel radio, which none of us need. But what you get is fantastic hardware. And there's where your micro SD card goes, USB-C, headphone out. I don't even know what goes there. I don't even know what goes in that. As I said, external RF module adapter goes right here. There's two different plates that go down here. We're not going to mess around with double A's, are we? It comes standard with a battery tray to hold two 18650s. Once the 18650s are installed in the tray, you never need to take them out again. You just charge USB right there. It's got a belly button, programmable button down here, button up here, button here, button here. 3-position switch here. Do you want to dig? It's got these all the way around. It's got two multifunction knobs.
Trim center.
It's covered in buttons. The amount of adjustability is excessive. And I never even noticed that there's a light under there. And for every step that the hardware is good, the navigation through the menus is nightmarish. When you get to your first setting, okay, I had just programmed this to some rigs earlier. When you get to, that's really blowing out. When you get to your first setting, so we go into the models. Here's where you can pair it to almost any receiver brand you can think of. I think it's 80 some different brands of receivers in the multi-module. There are 11 pages of settings inside the model menu with curves for every channel, logical switches, special functions, full telemetry depending on what your receivers are. You can configure all of your display screens. Basically, so there are 7 models currently paired to this radio because I mentioned I've had it about a week. I spent a good hour simply trying to combine a button. I wanted to combine this button. I wanted to combine this button with this knob. I just wanted to mix 2 channels and make cruise control. That's all I wanted to do. And let's put it this way. Right over there, her right over there, in the hand, it truly sparks joy. It feels fantastic. This feels like that $600, $700, $800 radio. It feels like you've picked up a Futaba 10PX, but you paid $139 for it, and I paired it to 7 rigs, and to pair it to those 7 rigs, I had to buy 3 $16 Radiolink RC6F gyroless receivers. So I have 7. All of my Go Fast rigs are all paired to this radio. It comes in a absolutely lovely carrying case. So when I have to travel somewhere to drive a Go Fast thing, I can take as many Go Fast rigs as I want and one radio with a beautiful leatherette strap, one radio in its case, and I'm set to go. I fought with this to try to get trim. Oh, and while we're at it, if you go down, I don't know how well this is going to show up. That white is just blowing out on the color. Okay, we've gone to dim mode, so we can try to see a little better. The system screen has 7 pages, and I don't know what a lot of it does. Global functions, trainer, but calibration for all hardware channels. Every single channel is configurable and programmable, but most of it looks like this. It looks like if you're a guy that's comfortable programming Arduinos to do things, this might be the radio for you. It has a level of adjustment that honestly we don't need. The scroll select wheel works, and it comes with 5 models enabled, 60 model memory, so you can fully program out 60 models. When we go to a new channel, it'll say create model, and it will create that model. So if we go into model 08, which we are now in model 08, nothing is configured. Nothing. Even everything is off. So they are not. Oh yeah, by the way, you can have your trim steps to fine or coarse. Say with another typical radio, you have 100 steps of trim. This one has 100 steps of trim, but each step has 10 steps. So you have 1,000 steps of trim on every channel, which when you're scrolling through that is super fun. I don't know what an ADC filter is. I do know what the internal RF mode is. You select that because by default, it's just the internal is turned off. You go down here, it defaults to Fly Sky, and if you scroll through this, it will go through hundreds of brands that you can just pair it to receivers. Radiolink, Fly Sky, Fur Sky, one that Esky. I don't know what most of these are, and there's a reason that I don't know what most of these are. And that is that clearly this thing doesn't come from the surface world. At least, okay, this was made for the surface world, but its brain, its core inside of it was not. How do I know this? Well, when you hook this radio up for the first time, you will scare your pants right off of yourself, because when you go like this to check the steering, your rig will go to full throttle. Because by default, channel 1 is throttle. And that's not a thing. Steering is channel 1. Now you can make steering channel 2. There is no hand holding with the MT12. None. They will not hold your hand up. Let me go to a different model. Let's just go to, all the way down to 60. Let's go to model 2. Okay, select model.
Switch warning.
Every time I change it,
Stop.
it says switch warning, and I don't know why. I haven't changed anything. So these LEDs come pre-configured that it goes blue when I go full throttle, and it goes police siren when I'm full brake. Green at rest, blue full throttle. Neat! Doesn't need to be, but super neat. I am not using even 5% of the capacity of this radio. And I never will. I just paired it to 7. Count them, 7. My Centon, I have a 3S Centon that's built into a Subaru Impreza. You may have seen it on the channel. A laser nut. I have a 15-inch wheelbase monster truck built out of a Traxxas Slash called Slashapede. I have a mid-motor Traxxas Slash that I built from scratch. I have the parts bin thing that's super fast and does pass the condo test. I've got my Kraton. I haven't paired my Limitless to it yet, but I will. Everything Go Fast will be on here, and it goes 2-channel, 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 all the way down in a 32-channel radio. So I am using this thing in the worst possible way, but in the best possible way, because I did free up 5 radios. 5 radios. And programming, just getting the throttle to acknowledge on some was, the word that kept popping into my head was nightmarish. I was not having a good time. The manual is 48 pages long. You have to download it and print it out should you want to do that. I downloaded the PDF and was reading through it, and it's like opening a trigonometry textbook. Your eyes just glaze over. So there are a certain group of you out there that will take to this. I don't want to say, what is the old phrase? Like a duck to water? Can't be a fish to water. Some of you will take right to this. And the hardware is so good that it might be worth it. There's a button.
Stop.
There's a button up there, up under the wheel, that I can't reach with my giant thumbs. Full adjustment on every channel, physical and digital. I don't even know what a logical switch is. That's how we get to 32 channels, when I think we only have something like 10 buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's 10, 11, 12. I don't even know how many buttons there are, because I configured it to fit 7, soon to be 8, 2-channel vehicles. It's $139. It comes with a receiver, but as I said, you can get Radiolink R6Fs for $15 a piece, and you can get Fly Sky 6 channels for $20 a piece, and then, as you know, you can just keep going up from there. 10-channel receivers, 12-channel receivers. I don't know what anybody is going to do with all these channels. One of the add-on modules that goes down here at the bottom comes with a little box, and it's all full of stuff that I will never use. Has one that has 2 switches on it. The other one has a little joystick on it, so presumably you could build something and have a gimbal on it and be able to control the gimbal from this. I never even took the receiver out of the package because I'm, by my own confession, an idiot. So it never even occurred to me. I just paired it to all the receivers that I already had. So at some point, another rig will come along, and we'll just use that receiver for it. Here is the module that clicks on the front to allow you to install an external RF module. And I presume that external RF modules are if you're in one of those people that's in a situation where you're like, you know what I need? I need 8 kilometers of range for my radio. Maybe FPV stuff? I don't know. It's outside of my capacities. It's this thing, by virtue of it being $139, is not a disgusting expenditure. A Hobbywing Fusion Pro costs more than that. And you take this, what can you get for $60? Say 4 receivers? You can have 5 rigs hooked up to a radio for $200. $40 a rig. And you have hardware that is well, truly, and genuinely above and beyond my capacities and capabilities. It has a rotatable antenna for no reason. I mean, I guess if that's a kind of thing that you like to do, I don't know. I don't know what all these little screw holes are for. They're for something. It's It's brilliant, and at the same time, if you can't figure out channel mixing, I mean, like, is it for you? I have here you go. Here you go, right under the bench. This is what we do around here. RC4, RC6. If I need 5 channels or less, I buy one of these for about $60. If I need more than that, I buy one of these for $80, except in the instances that they're on sale. I have become so comfortable with this radio. Here's the sole ergonomic drawback. It fits my hands. It feels good. This radio enabled me to free up one of these radios. I was using an RC6 for about half the Go Fast rigs. I've also freed up 3 vintage Sanwa radios, which now, upcoming builds, they got radios. So it freed up one of these. It freeing up this gentleman here, which also can do this. Like, that's well thought. That's well thought out. It freed up one of these gentlemen. I have a TRX4 Defender right over there. His name is Ironsides. He was the solitary vehicle on a FlySky GT5. The solitary drawback to the FlySky GT5 is twofold. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Number one, it will mysteriously suck a battery dry just sitting on a shelf. So you have to leave it with no batteries in it. And the buttons are effectively not configurable. So, in order to get it to cooperate with a Defender, locked, unlocked, front, rear. That was what I had to do to lock and unlock the diffs. Whereas when you're on one of these, I do it like this way, like a mnemonic device. So you've got 2 3-position switches. This is front, this is rear, because that's forward and that's back. Unlocked, locked in. I can remember it that way. So front, rear, locked, both unlocked. Fantastic. Cruise control. Hit this button, use this to adjust the speed. I am not exaggerating when I say I spent the better part of an hour in a concerted effort to get this button and this knob to give me cruise control, to mix with the throttle channel. But the mix menu is, I'm making a wide-eyed face. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, and it's not trying to help me. So, this is not something that I can recommend for or against. If you are not tech savvy, if you don't want to absolutely hop front seat right by the driver in the struggle bus, this is not the radio for you. This radio has so much future proofing in it that it's almost like it's from the future. An hour could not get a channel to mix. That's on me. I take that 100% because I have become so comfortable with these that when I paired this up to Ironsides over there, I fully configured all 5 channels and programmed cruise control in the span of about 1.5 songs that played on Pandora. 6-7 minutes. No problem. Set all my endpoints, got all my channels picked, named the model, did all of it, done, back on the shelf. I'm not trying to dissuade you from this. In the hand, the feel of this is, there's a qualitative difference. We've got, there's some solidity combined with like, I don't know, like it's not, there's a feel of economy. It's got a good trigger for a radio at its price point, but its trigger doesn't even get into the same neighborhood as this trigger. This trigger feels brilliant. What a great position for that. I mean, and I am not kidding. The buttons are all placed well. It is well thought out. The hardware is absolutely brilliant. But these are under $60. And you see, like ape hands, right? It's a big hand. I guess so frame of reference. So it's a 10-inch span on my hand. It's a big hand. When I look at this amount of space down here, I need, you know what I need? Opposite spectrum. When I talked about the CTO1, the LDARC CTO1, like my hand doesn't fit. It legitimately doesn't fit. I have to hold it very loosely, otherwise this corner of the grip right here leaves a dent in my palm, because it's like it is literally a pistol grip for a pistol that's too small for my hand. My fingers touch. I'm pulling the throttle with my second knuckle. So too small, just about right. But then what I've just become so comfortable with. Look where my finger is. Button, 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 button. Hit the knob, steer. I have a hard time with this, because this is the same reason. Why have I not reviewed a Radiolink RC8X? Because, well and truly, I would only recommend a product to someone if I would buy it myself. And I would not buy an RC8X for a rock crawler. And now that I've had about a week with it, and I've spent time fiddling with it, I wouldn't buy this for a rock crawler either. But I am also the Texas Ranger model, where it's one rig, one radio. I think we have 19 of these, just RC4s. I think we have 19 RC4s in the building. So I'm clearly operating in a different frame than a lot of people. There are a lot of one radio folk out there. If you're a one radio guy, this may well be your radio. If you have Fly Sky, or if you have Radio Links, or if you have something with the Fursky receivers, this is actually economical in terms of radios. You get another rig, it will cost you $10 to $20 to add a receiver to it and hook up another vehicle. So from that standpoint, 7 rigs. I've never had 7 rigs programmed to one radio in my life, and never thought that I would, because I'd never encountered a radio that made me say, yeah, this is the one radio that I want to control all of my Go Fast equipment. But it is, because I don't have to get into all of this stuff. What is drive mode? There's 7 of them. I don't even know what that is. And in the future, perhaps someone will introduce, perhaps someone will introduce some firmware into this that will make this less infuriating. Because I don't even know what all of these numbers mean. I don't know how to change them. I know that when I pull the throttle, I go to 100, and I can go to minus 100. Why is it on -1? I've never trimmed anything to make that. What is this one that's at -3? Is it steering? Yeah, there's my endpoints. I don't know. What are these that are at -100? I don't know. They do not hold your hand. Why don't these these little arrows? What are these little arrows telling me? So, if you are a semi-Luddite, no. If you are a tinkerer that doesn't mind something that I had remarked to someone, I was talking on Instagram to someone about this, and I had said, it's not intuitive at all, by any means. It's not counterintuitive. It's non-intuitive. If you think you know where something might go, nope. That's not it. That's not it. Try again. There will be a cadre of you out there that will pick this up and go, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You'll just have it and you'll be done. And that's awesome. I've gotten, oh yeah, did I mention every curve imaginable for every channel? A level of customizability and configuration that is insane. Absolutely insane. So, it's a hard yes and it's a hard no at the same time. There is every chance in the world that this thing will frustrate you like nothing has ever frustrated you before. But the sum total of all the frustration comes from the software. The hardware is all absurdly well thought out. And I am a huge fan of it for that. And any Go Fast rig that gets added to the fleet from here forward is going to get paired to this. I can't get over how good the feel of it is. You hold this down and it goes to sleep. It makes a little Z face. And then you take it and you slap it in its beautiful case, just like that. And who could ask for anything more? I wanted to be like, oh man, absolute game changer. And the thing is, let's do this. There we go. The thing is, in the long run, maybe it is. But I can do at least 90% of what I need to do with this. If this had an internal antenna and they made a four-wheel steer version, I don't think I'd ever recommend anything else. So on the one hand, I tell you, I'm not going to recommend to you anything that I wouldn't buy myself. I bought this myself, and I would never dream of giving it up. But I also, it needs to have some little bit of intuitiveness to it, because there's very minimal setup that goes into a two-channel high-speed rig. Like if I wanted to set up a third channel for like a 2-speed or something, that shouldn't be a problem. But any kind of mixing, I should be able to program cruise control for every model. And maybe someone in the comments will point out how to do it, or maybe in the future I'll figure out how to mix channels, and then we'll be there. But this would not be my choice for a rock crawler. I can do everything I need with these. Most rock crawlers are 2 to 3 channels. We really have no need for 32. I'm not mad about the price point. The adjustability is ridiculous. I love that it runs on 18650s, or you can put a 2S. I think they sell for it like a 5800 LiPo. You could probably fit one like a Genzace 3800, which is what I run in a lot of these. About $25. They go about 6 months. But you know, I don't know where to leave it. So I'm going to leave it with you. If you have experience with this, please do comment below and say, it's easy stuff, man. I've gotten, and maybe that's what it is. I've settled into a very comfortable groove where this thing has never done me wrong. Look how shiny that plastic is. I have used this particular radio so much. So, you know what else I'd like to do so much? I would like to thank you all for watching so very much. I know I rambled on for a long time and we had no action or adventure. We just sat here and we looked at this. But I don't know. If somebody wants a follow-up, let me know in the comments, etc., etc. Do not forget, above all else, in between now and when we meet again, please, one and all, do your very best to have a good run, everybody. We will see you in the next one. I should have gotten some B-roll or something in the background to bring this a little more exciting. But hey, now you don't even need to watch anything. It's truly like a podcast. And in the podcast, you'll hear me next time.